Hi, look. I'm not even in the right chair. I'm not in the right chair. I'm so thrown off that I'm not in the right chair right now. Normally I sit there, but I'm doing a podcast with my girlfriend today, Elizabeth.
Hello.
And the fact that Nick's not here to record this podcast meant that she decided that she gets to pick the chair, and she picked my chair. And so now I'm sitting in Nick's chair. And the whole thing is just...
I'm messing up the whole
It's
show.
throwing me up. It's throwing me off. I don't know really. And I'm not even with my mic. My mic is there. I got a different mic. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Because we're here today to pretty much coming in hot. We just watched a movie last night. And I saw information about that movie concerning an embargo for critics that lifted today at 6 p.m. And then I was at dinner. And I opened my phone and I see that Hurry Up Tomorrow gets hit with a 17% on Rotten Tomatoes. We were at dinner together. I tell you, I say 17%. I go, ouch. 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 For multiple reasons. But first of all, we saw the movie the day before, Wednesday at the fan event. I am a Weeknd fan, I would say. You know me best. You would.
Yeah, you're a pretty big The Weeknd fan.
Yeah,
I would say I like him, but you love him, cause you like the artist, you like his music, you like the Idol, you like everything.
I don't like the Idol.
No, you didn't like the Idol, but you still.
I watched the Idol.
Yeah, you still watched it because he was in it.
Yeah, I like to see work. I like to see, I guess, artists that work, especially artists that care so much about artistry at work, and it made me excited to watch this movie, Hurry Up Tomorrow. And so, but it gets hit so hard, 17%.
Oh, yeah, the reviews are bad.
Reviews are bad. And this podcast, we never come on here and talk about reviews and come on and purposefully shit on things. And because to be honest, we sat there, and I'm not going to lie, there was some points in my viewing of the movie where I'm like, this is going to be tough.
Oh yeah,
it's a sell.
There's a lot of parts in the movie where I was just kind of like looking at him, like what exactly is going on right now? Like there's a lot of moments where it's like what the honestly what is this? Like no, this is just big. But for me, it wasn't the story as much as it was for the choices of camera movements or all the other things visual aspects of it, where I'm like, oh yeah, that's an interesting take, and then I'm like, oh again we're seeing this. Wait, one more time. Like it was a lot. I felt, but it was still good. So overall, I
want to give some context to Hurry Up Tomorrow as a movie. It's The Weeknd's latest album. This movie is accompanying the album.
Yeah,
and it's presented in a way. Yeah, it's presented in a way though that is not similar to when Beyonce worked with HBO for a Lemonade visual album, or even a couple years ago when we went to the theater to watch Halsey's.
Halsey did a really good one.
Well, it's
but it was
tricky
different.
Because that is when you have a film or a visual special that is pushing the album. Well, there's some talking, but
in the Halsey there was none.
Yeah, there was a few lines of dialogue, but the point I'm trying to make is Hurry Up Tomorrow is, remove The Weeknd. It's Jenna Ortega, Barry Keoghan, directed by Trey Edward Schultz. Trey Edward Schultz directed Waves, which is one of my favorite movies of all time.
I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, you did. You watched it, but I don't know. You probably don't know that. You probably don't realize that you watch Waves.
Yeah. I'm terrible with names.
It's a film about. It's the guy. It's divided into two parts, multiple aspect ratios. It's the wrestler who breaks his arm, who has the girlfriend who gets pregnant, and he hits her, and she dies. That's one part, the first part of the movie, and the second part of the movie. I have a vivid memory of you watching this and me being in the room with you watching you watch it.
I probably asked a bunch of questions. If I would have if you showed me the image of the movie, I'll probably remember. But names and story, there's a lot of pregnant ladies. There's a lot of guys. All the movies are oh yeah, okay, Waves. That was a great movie. The kids.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. There's two
Okay.
parts to it. The
Yes.
sister,
I
the
literally,
brother.
I said that already.
Okay, yeah.
Uh,
Sorry, it took me a minute.
the point is, he directed Hurry Up Tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so that is interesting to me within itself. Him working with Jenna Ortega, who is as consistent as they come, and Barry Keoghan, who's capable of great things as an actor in his own right. So I see that, and I'm like, this. There can't possibly be a reason this goes wrong. And despite what you can read about this movie, I would argue that it doesn't go wrong. It goes exactly the way
It
it
was
looks like it
intended.
was intended to go.
Yeah.
This is very much of a vanity project for the Weeknd, for Abel Tesfaye. It's a project that he gets to be extremely personal and emotional with himself. It's almost like he's made himself a home video with a multi-million-dollar budget. He's made no, it's true.
$multi-million.
He's made like a movie that is really only for him to reflect on his own story.
Yeah.
It's a personal reflection that he's choosing to share with the world.
Yeah. That's why a lot of people call it like he's got his head up his ass.
Yeah, that's
like,
one of
it's
the
very
big
much,
criticisms we've been reading
it's
about
very much
this evening.
about him, and we all pretty much knew he was fucked up from the get go. Like this movie just kind of proves that. Like
Well,
he's all over the place.
Yeah, well,
He's like
the complex. I think this movie touches on some things, perhaps not in the best way, nor in the most efficient way, but the complex being of fame, drugs, the lack of privacy, money, what it can buy you, the feeling of power that you get through all of it.
Also, his issues with sleep paralysis too is interesting. That was terrifying. Not gonna lie, this part in the movie was absolutely like, you really feel the anxiety that he could be feeling when he's going through this, and it was honestly like, I don't know if any of you guys have experienced this, but I haven't, and I think I would die. Like if I was in these shoes and I had to go through this like on a weekly basis, I would not be good. Like this was terrifying. This was not nice. So yeah, that was, for what it was supposed to be, I think that worked out really well. And like you said, there was a lot of like parallels. Like if you can read between the lines and not just take it at face value, this movie is like amazing for what it tried to do. Like I think it did well.
Well, it's tricky because like to say, oh, this movie is amazing would mean that it hits when...
It's definitely not amazing, but it's not 17% Rotten Tomatoes.
Here's my thing is like, the Weeknd's character, the persona that is the Weeknd, the persona that is Abel, the public figure. This movie is like a bear all. This movie's not made to make him look good. It doesn't make him look good.
Not at all.
But it does show he's trying to promise to himself that he's going to burn what is left of the Weeknd and step into a healthy life as Abel. That's what this movie
That's
feels
what it was
like.
intended to
No,
be.
it's what it feels like. I just think...
I would disagree with that. I don't think the movie was reflecting what he's trying to do currently, because he's just kind of sort of...
I think it's done already.
Yeah, but he said this publicly, but I don't think if he hadn't said this publicly outside of this movie,
No, I think the movie does a great job
I
of
don't
showing
think
that.
so. I didn't feel that way, because at the end, like, yes, he's like kind of realizing that he's in this like state, and he's like, I'm because the girl the whole time she's like, be honest with yourself, you know what this song is about. Now let's talk about this song, and he's very vulnerable at the end.
Look,
But I don't think that reflects necessarily him, like him going back to where he was at the start. I don't think refers to him like changing, because if it would have been, he would have been in a different place than where
no, I
he
think so.
started
I think
at.
so. I think so. I don't agree with that. I think because at the end of the day, he's going to do what his show must go on. But his inner personality, part of it is just becoming aware of the person that you are, or the person of what you're doing as a person that you are. I will say this: we haven't even gone over what the plot is. There is next to no plot to hurry up tomorrow. It's a
No.
for lack of a better word, it's a visual album with a couple characters in it.
And we're really just in his head, but there's nothing.
It essentially
really.
starts the plot, I guess, as easily as simply as I can describe it. Abel has been broken up with due to his behavior, his toxicity. He is mourning his relationship. He's
Big time.
in shambles.
He's not well.
And essentially, it's inspired by the Weeknd's real life events that happen where he loses his voice in a performance, and it's due to psychological. He has no physical injury. It's psychological.
It's all stress and like
stress
that's
related.
from like his real life. Like that actually happened at
Yeah.
a concert. He lost his voice, but the doctors told him there's nothing we can give you because it's purely like psychological.
you need
it's your
rest.
struggles. You need rest. You need less stress on your shoulders. So take the time and then you'll be fine.
And then essentially what happens is that night where he loses his voice, he meets this girl who's played by Jenna Ortega. Her name is Ani, and from then on, you're dealing with Ani and Abel together. And essentially, there's so many theories for a movie like this. Trey Edward Schultz has already come out and say you could see this as a purely a metaphorical piece, and Abel never left that chair that he's sitting
That's what I
in
believe
the first frame, and you because that's how the film opens. The film opens the Weeknd sitting in a dressing room chair, and essentially they're saying you could make the case that he never actually leaves that chair,
and it's all happening. Like I think that she is purely a form of his imagination.
The film is all a mental warfare.
It's a mental roller
because
coaster.
essentially what I think this movie attempts to do is personifying mental gymnastics. It's Ani versus Abel, but it's really Abel versus Abel. The character of Ani, played by Jennifer Ortega, is simply a reflection of Abel's psyche. He knows what she's saying is true.
Yeah.
But what happens to him if he has to admit that? What happens if he has to be honest with himself and come to terms with destructive behavior? So that's an interesting part to me.
But he never met her. Like I know at first you were like, oh, maybe he met her, whatever.
No, that's what I'm saying.
But it's all mental.
Yeah.
At the end, he comes back to manager because it's like that blips of time never like happened. He's just like you said, the show must go back. He understood whatever he had to understand. Now again, to see if it actually like changed? We would have to see whatever happens after the show.
Well, God. Look, again, so here's the main flaw. This is a movie inspired by The Weeknd's life, starring The Weeknd as The Weeknd, made by The Weeknd.
It's very much, It doesn't say much about Abel.
People have been saying he's got the flaw is that he has his head up his own ass. Well,
it's kind of true.
Slightly. There's no way to put it. It's a little self-indulgent. For some parts is look how cool my life is. Then other parts are, I'm a pop star. I have to go on tour. Other parts are I'm so broken, feel bad. It's
drug addict.
Yeah, and it's hard because throughout all these things, how are you going to get an audience to care? I think movies are fun and movies are.
Yeah, because that movie we don't like him. Like I'm not like rooting for him throughout.
Well, I don't even mean it in that way.
No, man. In like we're not getting attached to his story. There's not there because it's so. Again, we're in his head the whole time. We're not seeing his life. We're not seeing the parts that.
I think you get attached to somebody's story not based off the story that they're telling, but how they make you feel.
Yeah, but
and
like
I believe that there is millions of fans of The Weeknd who will watch this movie and give an outpour of support to it. They will
Absolutely.
love it.
No,
They'll,
that's not what
I
I'm saying.
related so much to the idea that, or this or that, and the people.
Because we're literally going in his, but that's what I was saying. We're literally taking a trip in his brain. Like we're seeing what's happening in there, and it's so complex. There's so many things happening. So obviously you get an input on him, but if the goal was to get to know Abel, I don't feel like we got to know Abel that much. We're just seeing a guy that has clearly like been in the industry, seeing like all the ups and downs, and it's fucked him up over the years. Ex-drug addict, or currently still a drug addict in the movie, as we saw, and then the repercussions of like not knowing who you can trust too. Like his manager at first was like, "Oh, you're good to go." He's like, "No, I'm not good. Cancel the thing." He's like, "No, go." So it's like he's betrayed. He's like, so you see all the things, but at the end of the movie, you don't really get a resolution. You're kind of just left with like, oh, okay, like show's going back on, and like nothing really changes.
I didn't feel that way. I didn't feel that way at all. But my main question is, you said it. We don't understand who Abel is. We understand that the Weeknd is so bad, but why is Abel so much better?
Yeah.
Well, I supersede that question with, well, why should we even care about Abel?
But that's what I'm
or
saying.
the Weeknd? Because that kind of feeds off what I was trying to say earlier. This is a movie about the Weeknd battling his inner demons with the Weeknd, starring the Weeknd as the Weeknd, made by the Weeknd. It is self-indulgent. It does give itself a free pass. It is going to be hard to convince people to care about this movie. It is going to be hard when you think you're the hero of your own story. It's going to be hard to transmit that message to a larger audience, but that doesn't mean there isn't anything to take from this movie. I think that what we know is that we know what we knew coming into it. Jenna Ortega can act. Barry Keoghan can act. Trey Edward Schultz can master visuals. No matter how many times he makes the camera spin in circles.
Listen, that was crazy. I was getting like fucking. What's the word I'm looking for?
Well, it's like
car sick.
It's like what's up with all the spinning camera shit, Trey?
Yeah, no. After one time I was like, oh, low key cool. I kind of fuck with that. Then 2 times in, I'm like, okay, interesting. After 5 times in 10 minutes, I was like, this shit is
so much in the first 10
fuck.
minutes.
I was like, this is bad. I feel like I'm gonna throw up. I was watching this. I'm like, this is like fucking. You know when you're turning on a chair 60 times and then you feel sick? That's how I felt. I was like, no, I can't fucking. And with lights,
so much in the first 10 minutes of this
but then
movie.
after it didn't really. It happened again throughout the movie, but then it made. Not that it made more sense to happen, but it was more spaced out and also slower. Like, I understand that he was trying to show the pace of his life. It's crazy. There's lights, there's parties, whatever. Like, but there's other ways to portray that than just flipping the fucking camera around and around all the time. It was just too much. Like, after 2 times, you could, like, or God forbid, put 5. Put 5 in, but we saw way too many of them in the first, like, half an hour, I'd say.
So here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say this movie's good for. This movie's good for fans of the Weeknd. People who want to get the accompanying piece to the album that they love. People who want to understand the deeper meaning of these songs that he makes. But this movie is not good for people who are not interested in the Weeknd, let alone dislike him.
Oh yeah. No.
If you
already don't like him from what you've seen of him, like if you already like, there's a lot of people that I know anyways that like saw The Idol and then instantly stopped liking The Weeknd. If that was you, don't watch this movie. You're not gonna like him more. It's not gonna make you feel bad for him. You're just gonna be like, what a fucking asshole, and it's gonna stop there, and then you're gonna be like, fuck him and his music and his life, and so just don't waste your time. But if you like him and you're interested in arts, like for me, I watched it more for the artistic part of it and like the songs and stuff. Like I kind of like his music almost as much as you do. But yeah, no, I would say I like the movie, but I think the visuals are a lot more interesting than the story itself. Specifically the nightmarish parts, specifically the craziness parts, like where like she's trying to light him on fire type shit, and then after there's like he's just kind of starting to sing, which some people found hilarious. Like we're in the movie theater, these two girls behind us just start laughing because like it's a super dramatic scene. He's looking all like, I'm gonna die, and then he just starts singing, which is like kind of ironic, but at the same time you see it's his mental like just doing limbo, whatever is happening in there. Like that's what we're seeing. So when you're looking at it that way, it's interesting. But the lighting was great. Like for my end, I have nothing to say about the creative direction of it. Like everything was beautiful. Like the whole movie was gorgeous looking at it. But yeah, the story itself, I would say, yeah, was if you don't like him and you don't tune into the music for the words and not just like, oh, it sounds great music, and you actually listen, it's nice. Kind of like the Halsey movie was the same thing. The story itself was not like, wow, if you didn't like Halsey or her music, this was fucked up. Like it was not like something that people would sit down and be like, oh wow, beautiful. Like no, this is not what this is supposed to be, you know. So that's my take on that. A lot of words to say, not much.
The well, like just kind of like my own what I like the most is, sure, you got Trey Edward Schultz, who uses his artistic vision. He changes aspect ratios a bunch. He does a spinning camera thingy. Lights are going off and everything. It doesn't change the fact that when you have no story, it's hard to make a movie.
Yeah, because there's nothing that happens. We're kind of like, what's the like? Because you watch a whole lot more. Like you watch so many movies. I don't really watch movies. Like I'm not like a movie
It's
expert.
not that there is no plot. There is a plot. It's just so thin,
but it's
so
not, like,
ignored.
It reminded me of like, I know we were gonna say it's nothing like that, but it really reminded me as I was watching it of Beau is Afraid. I know it's not the same, but to me, a non
But Beau
knowledgeable.
okay. Well,
No, mais
Beau is Afraid is all plot.
Yeah,
Beau is Afraid is literally all plot. It's so much happening.
Yeah,
it's so
it's
thick.
like,
It's so dense.
yes.
And that's the difference. Is that sometimes you have a movie that is so dense that you get lost in, and sometimes you have a movie that is so thin that you get lost in.
Yeah.
The reason Hurry Up Tomorrow is so hard to navigate is because there's nothing to find. Beau is Afraid, there is tons to find.
Yeah, but if you're just watching to watch, like I was not analyzing it. Like I was just sitting there watching, and I was like, "What is going on?" Like you don't know. Yeah.
But like I said, when
Beau
a
is a
movie
whole
is so
universe.
dense, you get lost.
Exactly. But to
and
me,
when a movie
it
is
was
so
the same.
thin, that's what I'm saying.
I know, but you're just repeating words.
Well, it's because that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. We're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
You get lost in that world, and you Hurry Up Tomorrow gets tricky because there's nothing there.
Yeah.
Once you understand that.
Also, I could have called the ending. Like I think I knew it was gonna end that way. Like at the middle of
It's
the
a
movie.
cop-out ending. It's a cop-out ending.
I was like, I looked at Nick. I'm like, he's for sure gonna kind of like wake up, and he's either gonna be walking to go to his concert that same night that we just saw, or he's just gonna like get up and start the show. Like I called it.
It's a cop-out ending. Everybody knows once you do that, it was just a dream. That's because you really didn't have something in mind and you just kind of put it together. I think that's the only ending for this story. I do think this movie succeeds if you present it differently. I do think if Lionsgate doesn't push out a campaign for this movie and try to make it what it isn't, which is a summer blockbuster, you get something out of it.
Yeah.
I think this movie has been sandwiched between Thunderbolts and Mission Impossible.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
It doesn't belong here. Don't get me wrong, it's going to make some money because The Weeknd is like one of the highest charting grossing artists in the world. He's international.
The world? I don't know.
Oh yeah. No, he's crazy. He internationally, he's wild.
Yeah, it's true.
It's just
you know what? In my brain, it didn't matter what it came out with, but you're so right. Like, if you're coming out the same week as like
Well,
other
I'm
big
trying to
time movies,
understand the idea that people are going to be paying money to go to the movie theater, and they might be thinking, "Oh, this is the new Jenna Ortega movie," and Barry Keoghan, and oh, The Weeknd is in this.
now
That's
obviously
cool.
they're gonna know it's him.
No,
His
no,
face
but
is
I'm
on the
saying
cover.
they're like, "Oh, that's cool," and then they
Yeah,
buy a
interesting.
ticket and they go, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
Because this movie,
It's not
for all
advertised the way that it's.
no, it's advertised to be like a movie.
Yeah,
But
but
when you
not what
watch
we
it, it's
watch.
the furthest thing from
Yeah.
a movie. It's really just diving deep into the Weeknd's music and dissecting lyric per lyric, visually representing it, showing kind of the inner workings of his mind. And sure, the visuals to that are cool, and there's cool scenes. The sleep paralysis scene that you mentioned was actually
Terrifying.
very scary. I was like, that's effective. And then there's another scene in regards to an elevator. When you see the movie, you understand he gets to a bottom floor and it's just darkness all around him.
Yeah.
That makes you feel something.
He's definitely like
It's shocking.
yeah.
I think that The Weeknd has a future in visual arts. I think Abel Tesfaye knows how to do visual arts. Acting is hard.
I don't think he was bad. Like
I
people
don't
are
think-
saying he's bad for that one scene where he's like, "Get the fuck out." Okay, but the whole movie, like you know how hard it is to be as like dramatic and like he was like struggling in the movie. I was like, "Bro, you
I
need
don't-
a hug." Like
I don't-
He obviously it's not like top
I don't.
tier
So I think
acting,
I think
but it was
acting-
far from bad.
acting. He looks tougher. It's a tough look when you're beside Jenna Ortega.
And also no, but his character's just weird too. Like people are acting
Well,
like
that's
the guy
true,
is
too.
not fucked up. Like he's fucked up. That's the whole point. Like he's supposed to be weird. You're supposed to be like he's switching from like this guy who's so like empathetic because when he was he was looking at her like can I help you? Like he actually looked toward like I believed it. But then he switched and he was like, what the fuck? Like, and then, but that's actually how some people react, specifically him from all of his mood swings. Like, you see the guy, like, I keep referring him, like, in his episodes as, like, manic episodes, because it's almost like, when he gets stuck in his head, I know it's, like, maybe not the right terms, but you're so stuck in your brain and you're just not yourself. Like, you can't control it. You're just in this, like, state of mind that is critical. You think you're dying. Like, there's a few moments in the movie where he thought himself, like, we saw him and we're like, okay, he's gonna die, like, he's gonna get whatever. The elevator room too was one of them, but then you understand it's just his brain like playing tricks on him. So it's really like people are like, he's bad. No, like the character's just like that. Like he's just weird. Like he's just not a guy that is supposed to be normal
Yeah.
and sounding nice or whatever. Like when he does that scene, like obviously he probably could have said it better, and that like really is, you know, we see videos now and we're kind of laughing at it like, yeah, looking back it's kind of really bad, but
I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's hard to act. I think it's hard to act, but I think The Weeknd knows, or Abel knows, how to make something look cool. I think he can pitch a visual sequence that's interesting. I think he does a good job with music videos. I think in more ways than one, this is a very long music video. Like, he knows how to make neat visuals. Now, does that necessarily translate to being a film, making a film? It's hard. Like,
So-
it's hard to say that it does. And the only reason I believe that it's hard to say that it does is because, well, what makes a film? Well, a film is something with a plot, with a story, and then you have the visuals, layers, and it's experimental film if we want to get into the nitty gritty. But when you're making a movie,
But my question to you, following what you just said, though, you didn't finish, but like, you're saying he had the visuals, but isn't it the director's like job to worry
this
about
is
the
like
visuals?
this is like co-directed.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he probably invested in that movie a lot. Right?
It's his movie.
Yeah.
The Weeknd made this movie.
Okay, so exactly.
I think
so,
Trey Edwards. I think, and also I love the idea of them sticking to him. I love the idea that the promotional team has put him in a room with Jenna Ortega and Trey Edward Schultz, and they've been going on the promotional tour together. I love that the people who worked on this movie actually believe in this movie.
Oh yeah, there's
I
something
think
to be said about it for sure.
I think
It's
I
not all
think
bad.
that's significant. I think that Jenna Ortega, people have been laughing. Jenna Ortega, I don't know who Jenna Ortega's manager is. But they always give her bad movies, and it's like, but it's one thing to do a bad movie and to phone it in and not care, and it's another thing to give everything you have to a movie because you
Also,
like the content.
Jenna Ortega, I'm sorry, her roles are all very like if you look at Jenna Ortega, like you instantly throw it in like the horror or like weird roles. Like that's
Yeah,
just who she
very Tim
is.
Burton. Very,
Yeah, she's very, very, very blunt. Like her face is very like she can like scream, she
it's
can yell.
cold
Like she's,
movies.
yeah,
It's
very.
psychological
But that's
thriller horror.
I wouldn't imagine her in a like rom com. Like it's just not her.
I think she can do it all. I'm just more so. But the only thing I'm pointing to is you get a movie that lands on your desk and it's The Weeknd trying to pitch a movie about his own period of time and his own psychological warfare. And you take that movie, you meet with him, you progress through the art style, you want to try to make something different, something new. And if it fails amongst critics, well, it fails amongst critics.
I think
And
people just want to hate on The Weeknd. That's my. I think a lot of it is just people hating to hate.
I think that there's validity in the hate. This, like I said, and I'll say it again, when you have a movie about The Weeknd, starring The Weeknd as The Weeknd, about The Weeknd, made by The Weeknd, that's like printing your own face on a billboard
Yeah.
and saying, "Look at my face."
People are just hating because they wouldn't dare to do it about themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Because it's a fucking crazy thing to do.
It is kind of crazy, but at the same time, that's exactly what he's trying to do. Like,
I don't think so. I think that he's trying to do it because he actually sees certain value in his experience and he believes that it should be shared. And if not, like I said, it's just a really expensive home video. And that's cool too. But I'm sitting here today having seen the movie and feeling like I really want to defend it, but I understand where all of the criticism comes from. And I also understand that if this is not for you, don't go.
yeah.
Like don't
You
go.
don't have to.
You shouldn't. Like
No,
like
you're
like
gonna
flat
feel like
out.
you're
I'm telling you
wasting
now, if you don't like The Weeknd, don't go. If you're not a fan of his, don't go. If you haven't even listened to Hurry Up Tomorrow and all you know of The Weeknd is I Can't Feel My Face or Blinding Lights, don't go watch this movie.
No.
You are going to do yourself a disservice. You are going to leave the theater confused
Unless
and
you're-
frustrated, and then you are going to take it and torch it publicly. What I'm saying is, if you can't sit at the table and enjoy this, don't. It's not trying to convince you to enjoy it.
No.
Some movies you can go, I don't know anything about it, but I'm going to sit down and pop it on and get what I can out of it. That's one thing. Hurry Up Tomorrow is designed for the people who know who they're watching. It is designed for the same way The Idol was. It is designed for his fans to support. It is
100%.
content given to the fans.
At
It is
the
not
same
content
time, though,
given to new
I
people.
don't think that if you don't know the album, you shouldn't go. Like I don't think like. Even if I wouldn't like The Weeknd, I think I would have still enjoyed the movie because of the complexity of and the metaphors that we're seeing.
It's neat, but it's not more than that. What makes it cool is that everybody knows who The Weeknd is. Like that's what makes it fun. If this movie was made, and especially the way it's made, it's an hour and 46 minutes, but it feels like it could be 2 hours and a half. How slowly it moves.
It's very slow.
And then it's full. Like there's literally some parts of this movie where the scenes stop and it's just like a red and blue like color wave on the screen.
Oh yeah,
and it's like, what are we watching?
It's kind of like a flashlight pointing at a lens. Kind of, we're seeing glare. But I understand why they put that there, though. That was an interesting.
No, you get it too, but it's just like too long. There's just a lot of shit that happens, and it seemingly reaches a conclusion.
It's because he's manic. The guy is like out of his brain.
There's no reason to explain it. I'm saying it's not enjoyable for your average film goer. I'll sit there and put up with it, but I literally read a review where the guy's like, watching this movie isn't as hard as surviving it.
I remember.
That's an insane thing to say. It means that The movie is that painful. And I don't believe that it's that painful, but I'm saying if you are not interested or not tuned into it, I never do this, but don't go.
No.
I encourage people to go watch anything. Don't go watch this if you don't think you're gonna like it. You're probably not gonna like it.
Yeah,
and if you think you're gonna like it and you're willing to keep it, if you think you're gonna like it, there's a really good chance you're gonna like it.
Like, it's not a movie I would rewatch. You know what I'm saying?
There's nothing like.
It's like
what
what
would I rewatch? I feel like what I really felt like is when you take me to like one of these art exhibit things, and I'm like sitting there like, wow, this is fantastic. And then it ends, and I'm like, I could never do that again, but I appreciate it while I did it.
Yeah, exactly.
Same
you
thing.
have to come in with an open mind. Exactly, kind of like Beau. I know it's really not the same, but Beau is Afraid felt the same.
Because Beau is Afraid is the only slightly experimental movie you've watched, so
yeah,
it's
exactly.
very hard.
So it's the only one I can relate it to. But it was like, if you walk in with an open mind, you're still gonna enjoy the journey, kind of thing. But I also enjoy everything in life. It's very hard for me to be like, oh, this is bad.
At the end of the day,
but
don't go. Make your own opinion about it. What I will say is, don't take 17% on the nose and be like, what a shit movie.
No.
If you haven't seen it.
Yeah, you can't say
anything if you haven't seen it. If you see it, then you could speak freely. But don't say something without seeing it. At the end of the day, people put a lot of work into these movies. People put hours, man hours, days into this movie. The Weeknd himself put time and effort into this movie. I don't think it's fair for something to come out and immediately be bashed. Although it's not the best thing ever made, or it's a poor film in terms of accessibility for new people to go watch it, I don't think that it should be bashed publicly or shamed. That being said, I'll be at the concert.
Yeah,
I'll be at the concert. I like the Weeknd's music, and I like how he makes his sound for the movie. I like the exploration of his career, strictly from a fan of his perspective. Because as a film, there isn't much that I'm taking here. And like, there isn't much. You're not going to hear me talking about this at the end of the year. But when I think of the Weeknd's career, that's where I'll think
it's interesting.
He did make that movie to go with the album. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
the same way that I'll remember that Beyonce made a visual album, or
Halsey's was a lot
made a visual film that went along with her album as well.
But
that's a visual
different.
album.
Very, very different.
And this one feels quite similar. And so that's where I'm going to leave it at for today's rendition, this episode. But that being said, Hurry Up Tomorrow is very interesting. I implore you to go make your own opinion if you're interested to do so. And if you're not, well then, go watch Final Destination or something. So that being said, thank you very much for your time watching, viewing, subscribing. You can follow us on the Instagram for any updates regarding episodes. On X and on Threads, that's where we post first theater reactions. On the TikTok and Instagram, we have clips as well. On YouTube too, right here. Subscribe down. It's you. Is it you?
Here?
Yeah,
yes,
it's like there. Yeah, there.
there.
And I can like here. You can like right here. So do all that, and then we'll see you in the very next one coming very soon. That being said, me and Nick have a tradition, but since you're not here, since he's not here, I'll do it without him.
Can I do it too? What am I supposed to do?
It's done already. Bye.
Bye, fam. I want to do it again. No. It doesn't want my thumbs, babe.